Welcome to Turn Extension, a supplemental podcast for the Advanced Maneuvers YouTube channel.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Turn Extension. My name is Tony, or Polar Bear Cub on the forums.
This is Gaston.
Alright, so tonight you guys got the two of us again, and a couple days ago the RET CID dropped. So, what do you think about it?
I'm pretty excited, actually. The announcement that it was coming was kind of out of nowhere. And I had picked up Ret as my Warmachine faction for Mark III, and I adore Ret. It brings a lot of different things into the game that I think are very strong, things that you want to have in a war game, particularly, again, going back to the same theme that I always go back to, which is small movements, small tactical movements. Mm-hmm. Things like sidestep, things push-pulls. You've experienced the tractor beam off of Helios, and I adore the battle mages and Ron and all that. So I really, really love everything that the faction brings together. I love the rules, themes that it has. But I think what really happened is they fell pretty hard on their face when they started designing theme forces, and theme forces became the main thing. Particularly when they started, everyone just had one theme, and it was Forges of War. That was a pretty good theme. But they haven't aged particularly well. They weren't designed particularly well when the Themepocalypse hit. And, almost a year later from the Themepocalypse, you're feeling the weight. So I think this is a good time to kind of refresh them. I do feel bad for Circle players kind of getting bumped in the order. But,
Hey man, talk as a production.
Well, I think the other thing is it was nice for them to slip it in because of the release schedule.
Yeah, and that's nice. And honestly, I'm really excited that they put in the Trident, even though they said that, hey, it's not coming out for a while. So it might not be until 6 months from now, in all honesty. But they wanted to test it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we're going to have to touch on the Trident.
So I haven't really looked at anything at all. The only thing I really looked at was the explanations that they put up on the CID forums to kind of say, hey, this is what our thoughts were. So I really don't know. What I know from the Trident is it's a flying jack, or flying battle engine, and there was a individual on the Signar forums that literally flipped out because of it.
Almost as well they should.
Well, I mean, the good news is it is week 1 of CID. We should all expect everything that happens in week 1 will change. If that wasn't the case, Locke would still be stupid broken.
I don't know that the Trident is stupid broken, but it is definitely on my Concernosaurus Rex list.
Okay.
Because, how much we hate the Stormstriders, and we hate the Stormstriders.
I have been told that, yeah.
Hate the Stormstriders. I don't know which I hate more, as Teps or Stormstriders. Probably Teps, just because I have to play against them more.
Dude,
but
so is perfectly normal, as I've said.
But so, you take the Stormstrider that we don't like. Mm-hmm. The Trident is +2 speed, +2 defense, +2 wounds, and has melee attacks.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably pretty broken.
Amongst other things that it can do. But we will get to it in due time.
Okay. So where do you want to start at?
Alphabetical order.
All right. So you start us off.
All right. So I'm just going through the PDF here. Demon, they reduce the point cost. Okay. Probably not enough.
Okay.
So it's got a neat gun. I like the gun.
But it's pretty cool.
Probably not enough. It's still expensive. I mean, it's freaking 14 points.
Yeah.
Not anything you're going to see in Slayer Spam.
Okay.
The Dester Thane is, he's in a weird, complicated mix where Unyielding is probably better on Desters now that you have a caster like Gorshade 4. The flip side is he's just a really freaking expensive Dester. So you're kind of like, do you want Unyielding? Do you not care about Unyielding? Do you want to, literally you're paying, I think, 2 times the Dester cost for this Thane, who's exactly the same. Maybe he's +1 mat and +1 rat. That's about it. So some work to be done there. But that takes us into the Desters. The Desters were they were one of the horrible jokes of the game. Someone had created a flowchart of how you had to go through and determine how they attacked. And you know those simple flowcharts?
Yes.
No, this was not one of those. It was like a freaking full page. It was pretty intense.
Really?
So, oh god, it was pretty impressive actually that he went through all the effort. So they've gone through, they have simplified them down a lot. And what they did is they basically gave them dual attack to kind of replace assault. So rather than assaulting on the charge in, you just take the shot afterwards. And then you have, it's called close volley, where basically if I hit you with the lance, then the gun automatically hits you. And then the gun got bumped up to a POW 14. So you're going to charge in with you have your mount attack, which is POW 12, you have your boosted lance attack, which is POW 14, you have your gunshot, which is POW 14. So that makes them significantly more interesting. Mm-hmm. I still think that you're probably going to want them with a caster who brings a good amount of buffing to them. You take someone like Assyria, so they're charging them when you give one of them Scything Touch, or Gorshade 4, he's got an arm debuff, where now you charge in, you're hitting him with a POW 12 mount or POW 14 mount attack, a POW 16 lance, a POW 16 gunshot. You start to take serious chunks out of armor at that point.
Jesus, man.
I know, right? And the other thing you can obviously do is kind of have them go through infantry where they charge, impact, hit with the lance, and then the third shot can be a gunshot into another infantryman.
God.
And then reposition 3. It's almost kind of intriguing with Thyron, actually, because then you're 3 dice to hit, so you can... And then you have sidestep as well. So it's kind of like reposition 5.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Probably not worth it, but it's at least interesting to consider. One of the models I think would be really interesting with him is actually Gorshade 4 because he can cloud wall. So, and then he's got an armor buff. So if you take the Thane, then you get up to armor, I think 22 in melee, and you cloud wall up so they can't be shot or charged. You sound really excited about that.
I'm not going to be mad because it's the first week of CID.
Honestly, I'm not certain if there's anything wrong with them. They're definitely not chosen of Everblight.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll see what happens.
I could see the gun losing 1 POW maybe. That's probably about all that's going to happen.
Okay.
That's my guess.
We'll see. What's next?
I think the gun is still fine in POW 14 probably. I mean, if you put them with Assyria, then they're effectively POW 16, so they can pick on targets. Raven makes him interesting and threatening as well. Ossian can make him interesting, threatening. So, yeah, I see the gun POW getting tweaked. That's about it.
Okay.
Moving on, Invictors. The officer gained Tactics Reposition 3. Okay, that's nice. I don't mind it at all. So I guess the one tactic that you kind of gain out of this is I actually kind of like Invictors. I use them with Assyria a bit, and then I've used them with Alara a little bit at the beginning when there was not a Dawn Guard theme yet, so really old times.
Okay.
But you can roll on up, you can mini feat so that they go up to, I think it's range 14. You can blow away anything that's out of charge range, and then you can reposition back into Wall of Steel so they get the +2 arm. But then things come further, then now you're just range 10, you blow up again, step back, blow away things again, reposition 3, so now you're 13 inches out. So you can kind of get 2 turns of shooting where previously you would maybe get only 1 turn or a turn and a half.
Wall of Steel was just so nice because it's not an order. It just has to be base to base. So you could charge models in, and even if you charge 2 and 2 and 2, the fact that that's just really nice in general. And with reposition 3, you can actually charge them at a distance and pull them back in.
Yeah, and then they're another one that's kind of interesting with abilities like Scything Touch or arm debuffs from Gorshade because they do have Assault. So they're charging in, if you do the arm debuff, then they're hitting you a boosted POW 13 and then a POW 14 shot.
God damn.
So, well, you pay for it. I mean, they're expensive relative to everything else in the game.
Yeah, I mean...
And they're squishy. I mean, 12-17 is not a stat line that's going to stand up to a lot.
No. I mean, trust me, I've seen my Rocketmen are base 1411, and they're the same cost as 15 points for a unit of 10 of them. So yeah, I trust me, I know exactly what you mean. They're not like 17 is not crazy at this point.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty rough meta for single wound infantry if you don't have a way of really protecting them on the way in, which is kind of what makes Score Shade, I think, kind of a big deal. It makes Kaelissa a big deal because she has stealth no charging for her feet. So unlike a lot of things like Crucible Guard, I think Rhett actually has the ability to deliver things now.
Okay.
And like I said, I mean, I took a min unit with the UA for Assyria to kind of clear off things that are bothering me and then free up charge lanes for the Sentinels.
Okay.
And they're very effective in that role.
Mm-hmm.
That is a unit I will actually highlight that you can very easily take a min unit with the UA and it works just fine.
All right, what's next?
Sentinels, pretty much they got cheaper, which, thanks. I didn't think there was any problems with them before, so cheaper's better.
God, they went down. They're 17 points though for a max unit.
They were 18 previously.
That still seems like a lot.
Yes and no. I think that puts them online with like Croak Raiders, I believe, are 17 for a max unit.
Okay.
And quite honestly, they are POW 12 Weapon Masters with Vengeance, Wall of Steel, and Iron Zeal. And Relentless Charge. Like, they should be the most expensive single wound infantry unit in the game. Like, they are the top of the bell curve.
So with Iron Zeal, they can get up to +5 armor in one turn. That's pretty good. They go up to armor 20.
Yeah. Armor 20, put them under Helena's feet. I think they go up to armor 23, if memory serves me correctly. She has the anti-shooting buff, so it takes them to armor 25 against guns.
Sounds a lot like how Maddox was with Stormblades, in a way.
I actually think that Sentinels are easier to deliver than Stormblades. Because I've had no problems delivering Sentinels when I play Rhett, and I've had no problems killing Stormblades when I play against Signar.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
Kind of, I don't know how to really treat that comparison because that's a really skewed way of looking at things. But yeah. I think also you see a lot more Sentinels than you see Stormblades.
I think so, yeah.
Because if I recall correctly, Storm Lances is what really made Storm Division a pain in the ass.
Storm Lances did. Storm Lances were really good. I mean, yeah, they were pretty awesome beforehand. So
yeah, no one likes Signar.
Hey, man. Signar's good. Signar's ain't bad.
Crumble. So, no, I mean, thank you for making them cheaper. That probably won't change. Probably wasn't super necessary, but, you know. The one thing that actually might make it kind of a pain in the ass is getting free points in theme. Because previously when there were 18 points, you take 2 units in a UA, and that's precisely 40. You get 2 free things. Mm-hmm. Which would be the second UA in the Thane to give him Tactician. And now the points get funky now that it's not an easy number. So you may see grumbling that they got cheaper. It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, that's
ridiculous.
By making them 2 points cheaper, it costs 4 points.
You're ridiculous.
So there is a legitimacy to the grumbling. Whether or not it's a thing. I mean, you could always just tack a Soulless Escort onto them and bump them back up to 18 points. And now they have magic protection as well. So, yeah, that's probably some the rich getting richer complaining right there. I'm just going to shut up and move on now.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that takes us to the new model here. This is one of the models that are kind of the 4 that really are worth talking about in depth.
Cool.
Most of the changes are small tweaks, but this is the first of the 4 that are really, really big tweaks and really, really matter.
Okay.
And that is the Trident, which we've touched on a little bit. So just like the Storm Strider, it powers up. It gets D3 power tokens whenever it moves. You can have up to 3, and it can use them to boost attack and damage rolls. Mm-hmm. Models can move through it, which is interesting. I kind of wish a couple other of the melee battle engines had that rule. It's a very helpful rule. Quite honestly, because you jam up your own shit with battle engines, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Dual attack is a really, really big deal. That is a really big deal because it does have a melee weapon, so it can charge 10 inches and then shoot after that. So it's got a base 22-inch threat on its guns.
Does it
You
have
also can't
dual
jam it.
attack? Oh, it does have dual attack. Okay.
Yeah, it does. Then it's got Force Barrier, which is interesting. Def 14, you can get that even higher if you need to. And it's not spell-based, so there's utility there.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to pick on that one. Telekinetic Wave. This I have concerns about. I have significant concerns. Telekinetic Wave is essentially Slipstream in Ret.
Really?
So when the battle engine moves, a model within 2 inches of it can be moved 2 inches. Or placed 2 inches.
That's pretty strong.
So Ret is already a faction of very fast things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those very fast things is named Paradis. And Paradis is speed 6. He's got 2 inches of reach and he has sidestep on both attacks. So you take an Imperatus, speed 6, 2 inches of reach is 8-inch threat, and then you slipstream it for 10, and then it charges 13. And then it sidesteps for an additional 4 for 17.
So it's a 17-inch threat.
Until you stack caster buffs.
That sounds...
So you're starting at 17 and then stacking caster buffs. That is concerning to me. Because there's a fair amount of them in Ret that have plus 2 inches. Syria has Crusader's Call. Alara has Boundless Charge. Veros has, what the fuck is it called? The plus 2 speed and Pathfinder one. Mobility. And then I have to double check when we get to her, but Raven, I used to have Locomotion, so that's actually plus 3. So you can get him up all the way up to 20 inches.
That's pretty damn... That's insane.
And, I mean, he's Mat 8 now, and I think he swings in the ballpark at pound 19 or 20.
God
Probably
damn.
pound 19. And that's, again, pound 19 is after concentrated power, but before anything else your caster stacks on him, such as Scything Touch,
So
etc.,
that's
etc.
probably the furthest in the game? Probably
not.
But
Which
pretty
is a sad
aggressive
thing to
for
say.
a Warjack like Imperatus. Now, can they be
Right.
brought in the same themes?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
They absolutely can, because we'll just kind of skip to that part of the theme.
Yeah, we got a lot to get
When-
over, so we should probably just gloss over a couple things, like really quick stuff.
Yeah, so Imperatus can be taken in Legions of Dawn,
Okay.
and this is a Dawn Guard battle engine.
Wow.
So the other thing about it is that it has D3 times 3 guns. So it gets between 3 and 9 shots.
D3 times 3.
D3 times 3. And this thing only costs 16 points.
So I'm trying this rate of fire D3 3 times. Wow. Power 13, range
Yeah.
12.
And remember, it can boost these as well. Or you can take it on someone like Raven, who makes them all additional die. You can take them on someone on Aussie, who makes them all additional die to damage.
I feel like we're going to see a huge change for this one, because this is a... this outshines the Storm Strider. Storm Strider's dual attack, but still not nearly as many shots as this.
They have similar threat ranges, I think. So I
But
think the
not
Storm
as,
Strider is speed 5, POW 14.
but not nearly as
Or
many
range 14.
shots. Range 14, power 14, but not nearly this many shots.
Right.
And the TEP this outshines the TEP as well. For I believe it's cheaper than the TEP as well.
So
With
there's a
significantly
lot of
more
things.
health.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's going to get smacked a little bit.
Yeah, either his
And-
points are going to go up by a lot, or you're going to see decreases. Probably change Telekinetic Wave. Probably a change to his weapon.
Yeah, I'd
range.
really rather see the decreases in abilities than increases in points.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
Yeah.
let's jump on to some of the other stuff.
yep, Gorgon, just a point cost drop. I
Okay.
think he's actually really interesting because he has the gun that makes you -2 speed for a round.
Yep.
And now you can do things like Alara is allowed in Shadows of Retribution.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Shadows. Forges of War. So you can do things with the Mitten Kittens where you push things away, and then the Gorgon can roll up, shoot it for -2 speed, and then she's got sprint on guns, so it scoots back. That's, but it costs 8 points, so that's better.
Yep.
Artificer, force wall change to model/unit, which is Arguably, probably easier than a 3-inch bubble. So that's a very positive change.
I think it's pretty nice with it being
Defense, which we're going to touch on later on one of the other.
Yeah, I think it's good. That's nice. That's pretty good. I feel almost a quality of life change.
Yeah, on him it is. We're going to touch on another thing that happens that is much not so great, which it just turns out is actually the next sentry. Yep. So what they did, the Artificer gained Force Wall, which puts Force Barrier onto a model unit. The Battle Mages lost it and gained set defense. And they also got 2 points cheaper. They went down to 8 points.
So that's nice, though. I mean, they lost that magic barrier, but they dropped them points and they gained set defense. That's not horrible.
Okay, this
and they
becomes
gave access to a unit, a model that can give it to a friendly faction model / unit. That's pretty awesome.
In that sense, it is. Here's where it becomes a very tangled mess. And that's in, again, going to Forges of War theme, you now get units of Battle Mages for free. For every 30 points of Jax, you get a free unit of Battle Mages.
Really?
And, yeah. And that's their Jack theme, and this is the only, I guess there's the mechanic unit, but this is the only real unit they have in the theme. So my initial read on this is that they were trying to turn these guys into the bubble wrap for the Jack theme. And that's not how this unit functions, and it's created a bit of a mess, in my opinion.
That's a lot of models now.
Well, it's only a 6-man unit, so you can get.
But you can get for every 30 points you get a unit for free.
Yeah, you can get 18.
18 models.
I think there's something that makes them FAU. Otherwise, they're just FA2.
Yeah, they're normally FAU.
Oh no, they are okay.
They're FAU.
Yeah, so you can get 18.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you can see the creep starting to happen, because now just in that you're at 24 free points. It's actually usually very difficult. You can get that high in other lists, but it's usually for expensive solos rather than 18 models. And then they've kind of warped the entire role that this unit had, where it was originally staying back, it was pulling things in, it was controlling the battlefield, and that's where this force barrier came into play, because it made it hard to shoot at them. Now you're having set defense, so the idea is you want them in front of your jacks. You kind of want them to cluster up a little bit, but it only takes 1 or 2 guys dying, and then you have a free open anyway, so they're not going to be a good tar pit. They're not going to be a good bubble wrap, and you've taken a lot of the character away from them. And you've also tied it into almost a power creep of free shit and themes.
Mm-hmm.
So what it feels like, if I was trying to say, is that PP has a thing that they want Forges of War to be, and they are designing the theme to force you into the list that they want you to be, rather than theme being a theme, and then you build the list the way you want it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens in the end. I think this is still so early on in the test, so I mean, we still got a long way to go. So like I said, that's why a lot of this stuff is probably not going to change. So that's why I'm only so about it right now. We'll see when it gets to next week and what changes have been made.
Well, the shit that gets 1 point cheaper, it's fine, whatever. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This is one of those 4 I was talking about where it's worth spending the time to delve into, because if you remember the Bone Grinders moving from Mark II to Mark III,
mm-hmm.
they eliminated their magic attack and made them these melee guys, and then bumped up their point cost. Well, they're a support unit. No one fucking uses them for melee. So they gave them these extra abilities and this extra role that they don't support, and they made it more expensive, so now you're even more disincentives. You are even less likely to want to add them to a list.
But this
it's been a long work week. I can't talk.
That's no problem, but this does the opposite, though.
It's the opposite in the sense that you're going to add them to the list because you get them for free. But the role that they're forcing them into is not the role that they should be in.
Okay.
They are ass as bubble wrap. There aren't enough of them. Defense 15 against shooting, and defense, because now you got to take the solo to get them to 15 again against shooting.
Right.
And set defense, you just kind of walk in and kill them, or you just take a couple high-powered shots. You only got to kill 2 of them to get through. So I don't know. I'm not happy. I'm not impressed, and I think it's a poor direction to take them. The flip side is I have emotional investment. This is my favorite unit in Ret.
Okay, that makes more sense why the argument's coming.
Yeah, this is my favorite unit. I have bad touch people with every single caster in Forges of War.
Yep, they are assholes.
Because you remember, I didn't know what to do with Raven when we played, so I'm well, Forges of War.
Yep.
At Battle Mages, I'll drag you in.
Yep. I remember very distinctly what happened. It was very painful. All right, let's jump into the Magister. Looks like he
The
only gains set
Magister,
defense.
yeah, he gains set defense. He's never going to get taken. So,
Okay.
oh well. Because you just pay one more for the Mega Mittens, and he's a Jack Marshall and gives out Force Barrier, whereas the Magister just kind of floats around being as expensive as almost 3. You're almost paying 3 times the cost of a Battle Mage to get a Battle Mage.
Okay.
So, not fantastic.
Yeah.
One caveat, Whip Snap, very cool ability. Second caveat, Whip Snap, a lot harder to get off than you think.
All right, so Hyperion's next.
He just got a +2 increase in range on the Sparkle Cannon. Good quality of life.
Yep. Hypnos -1 point.
Nice quality of life.
Yeah. And Paradis, drop some points, gain an additional mat.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I don't think Rhett had anything that was base mat 8. So usually each faction kind of has like 1 or 2 things. Like for Protectorate, for example, the Avatar's mat 8. So Paradis is the, what was that called? Legends Jack for Rhett. Whatever book in Mark 1, the Avatar and Death Jack and all that came out.
Yeah. It was
Paradis was
it was
intended to
before
be their
Legends.
equivalent. Yeah, so whatever it was.
Okay.
And Paradis was intended to be their equivalent. Mat 8. It's pretty high, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I think the thing that just scares me about him is Phoenix Protocol and that he's added into themes, which is very powerful.
Yes.
Makes him very
Yeah, you're going to see, like,
so
prior to
much
the Theme
more.
Apocalypse, he was in every list, and now you're going to see him a lot more.
Yeah. All right.
So be prepared.
Gore Shade.
All right, model number 3 that's worth spending. Yeah. Gorshade.
Okay, Gore Shade.
Gorshade, then Moby. Yeah, whatever. No one cares. It's a freaking made-up word. No one cares how it's pronounced. So the casters are obviously models that are worth spending time on talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Huge overhaul. He was originally called Snorshade because he was boring as hell. The first thing they did is they added some Focus Soul Collection to his feet. So that is very useful. But skipping down a little bit to his spells, they swapped out, he gained Dauntless Resolve, which is +3 armor and tough.
Which is awesome.
Yep. It is limited to warrior models and units, so you can't really use it on... Because my first thought was like, oh, buff on Hyperion or armor buff on Helios.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't. It's sad. But again, you talk about the Desters of being armor 22. You talk about the Sentinels being armor 23.
Right.
Things like that. There are places you can definitely use it. Freezing Mist is another new spell. This is just like Ashen Veil from High Reclaimer, where he drops the clouds and you're -2 to your attack rolls. This is particularly useful in regards to how scenario terrain is now set up with the line of sight blocking piece in the middle. You just need a couple clouds on either side and you're good to go.
It's
Having
nice
a cloud wall... Sorry, what?
No, I say it's nice because it's different because instead of the standard, hey, -2 to fire, unless you're immune to fire, this is actually -2 to cold. So if you're not immune to cold, I mean, you know, so that's pretty cool that it changes up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. There's a lot less cold immune stuff than there is fire immune stuff. Just be aware of the trolls theme.
And with a Focus 7, he can send it out pretty far.
He can send them out pretty far. He is limited to only 3 of them. And one of his weaknesses that you're going to see here is that it is very difficult for him to get all of his spells out. So that's kind of an issue as well. There isn't a Soul Slave source. You do have Wish Nailer to kind of help you a little bit with a free upkeep. So, but basically you're going to cloud wall up. That's why I think a lot of people are playing Legion of Dawn. So now you can save the Sentinels mini feet and they can't be charged, shit like that. But he also has Ghost Walk, which until you play minions, you don't appreciate how powerful Ghost Walk is. And once you play minions, you really appreciate how powerful Ghost Walk is.
And you get really pissed about Ghost Walk.
Shh. It's okay, honey. Shh. Hand of Ice is an arm debuff. That's obviously incredibly useful. Light of Wrath is a really weird one because Alara has Marked for Death, I believe it's called, which does nearly literally the same thing for cost 2, but it's not an AoE. So, and it's not an upkeep, so... This is basically an AoE he can throw out to do a def debuff. If you run your arc node within 4 inches of something, it can't scatter off, so it's good for popping some of the higher defense things like Legion, circle,
Yeah,
stuff like
anything that's
that.
stealth as well. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and he still has revive, which 9 times out of 10 sucks, but on a spear of Syra, whatever the hell they're called, you can revive a shield guard, which is very useful.
It's very nice.
It's expensive.
It is, yeah.
So I think this has taken Gorshade and probably launched him up into the discussion on top tier of Ret. Ret does not have a lot of stat-changing casters. The only one that jumps immediately to mind is Alara with Scything Touch and Boundless Charge and Mark for Death.
Okay.
Her spell list is kind of why they call her Lich Lord Alara. Yeah, I know. It's cute. So the fact that he brings Arcane Vortex as a field marshal is really powerful. An armor buff is really powerful that you can upkeep for free. Cloud Wall for delivery. You've got Ghost Walk is situationally incredibly powerful. Hand of Ice is going to be powerful. Light of Wrath is going to be situationally powerful. He brings a whole toolkit. I'm really, really excited for this guy. I think he's definitely going to pop up to the top, at least in the top discussion. It's kind of hard to unseat Ron, but he'll be in the top discussion. I'm not seeing anything about him that jumps out as being overpowered. It's just all because he compares very directly to Alara. It's how you're going to apply it is going to be the difference.
Okay.
So, because he drops the Cloud Wall, Alara has Boundless Charge. Alara has Mark for Death. He has Light of Wrath. Alara has Scything Touch. He has Hand of Ice. So there's a lot of give and take there. But since it all kind of already exists on one caster within the faction, I don't think he's going to change overly much. So, but that's a knee jerk. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. That's the thing is, this is a guy that we thought was boring as hell. I'd originally built him as a backlash caster in Shadows just for the hell of it to play him. But playing him was checking a box. Like, I played him to check a box.
It wasn't something
Now-
that like drew you into him.
Exactly. Now I want to dojo for him.
Okay. That's good
So
then.
I think
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's what you should want out of a caster.
I think so as well. I think that's a strong pull for especially coming out of Mark III. Like that was a kind of a big thing, which Gorshade was finally coming back to right, and it was like, oh, it was not what we thought it was going to be. That's.
Did you ever read
disappointing.
that fluff?
I did not. I probably should.
It was the worst fluff
I
ever.
have the book somewhere. I'm really excited for the next couple weeks when we see the Crucible Guard fluff come out. Can't wait. All right, let's jump back in.
I hope it's better than that.
God, I fucking hope so as well. All right, Infiltrators. It looks like they lost points.
They
or-
actually got more expensive.
Wow.
They
But
were
they gained
dirt
Combo
cheap
Strike.
before. They gained Combo Strike. That's a really intriguing thing. So that makes them Power Strength 9.
Power Strength
The
12.
power is equal to
Power 12.
it should be more than that. What's
No, Power 3.
Oh, Power 12.
Yeah.
You're right.
They go to a Power 12.
So then again with Gorshade 4 or Alara, they get up to Power 14 combo strikes. That's enough to start taking the doing some damage to heavier targets, which makes them more intriguing to take. I already kind of liked them with Furos 1 to trigger flank on the feet because they're fast, they're stealthy. Oh, no, they are 14 because they have gang. That's what it is.
Oh, yep, yeah. So
They
14.
9 combo strike to the 12, 14 with gang, and then 16 with an arm debuff is what makes them much
Really
more intriguing
cool.
now.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's a huge jump. Because then they go into Mat 8, Power 16. That's kind of ridiculous. And they're Speed 7, so they're getting a 10-inch threat. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The scary thing is going to be, well, they have stealth, so you can keep them alive relatively well, hopefully.
Yeah, and then they also have blessed.
Yep.
So they can skip past a lot of armor buffs.
That is really nice. Yeah, it gets
So,
past, Transmute
Yeah.
then. That'll get past Transmute, right? Because Blessed...
Yes, it will.
Yep. Or
It
Transmutation, I should
ignores.
say.
Yeah, it ignores things that add to your defense and armor.
So Mage Hunter Strike Force is next. I don't see any change at all. I think it just
All the
added
changes for them was actually on the commander.
Ah, okay. All right. So Commander. Oh, they get a arcane ammo.
Mm-hmm.
They get magical. That's pretty nice. That felt like that makes sense for them.
It makes sense for them. It's a common theme throughout Ret. I'd say it's more of a quality of life with the decrease in incorporeal models, but it helps out a lot where Grimkin are concerned, where some of the Crick stuff was concerned, things of that nature. I don't think that they're going to be taking like a, what do you call them, Wraith Engine off the table anytime soon, even with Ossian that's a little shaky.
Yeah.
But it's a nice quality of life. It does make Protectorate super mopey, because Ret was already kind of preyed on Protectorate a little bit, and now they can get around the choir with ease, absolute ease.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, man. Moros got a plus the speed and parry.
Hang on here. Sorry, I scrolled the wrong way.
Oh, no problem.
Yep, a little extra speed, a little extra parry, and his blades went up to range 1.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. Yeah, I missed that. Okay, cool. What were they before? Just 0.5?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's less good.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He also got added to Shadows of Retribution.
It's one of those things where I think it'd be really crazy. It would have been awesome if we would have seen Gareth put in here, because I think that would add more excitement. He was actually the one Warlock I'm surprised we didn't see get in here.
He doesn't... Yeah, he's in a weird spot, and I think it's just a scope thing.
Yeah.
More than anything.
No,
He wasn't as bad as Raven or Gorshade.
Okay.
So, he's not great, but you could kind of want a dojo for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got... I played a hell of a game on camera with him against Wormwood, and we just beat the hell out of each other. But I got the tree in the feet where he can't cast spells, so the tree couldn't teleport away.
Jesus Christ.
And then
That's
I
pretty
ran
awesome.
a Banshee up to get the tree within Wailing, so the tree couldn't teleport away again.
God damn.
It was pretty fun. So, I don't know, Gareth is in a weird spot where he's kind of like Schrodinger's caster, where you're like, he's either interesting or boring, and you just never know which until you open the box.
Makes sense. All right.
So Moros is in a weird spot. I'm not entirely sure what to think of that. These are nice cost of living increases, but I don't know if that's enough to actually make me want to take them.
I wonder if a decrease in point cost would justify it a little bit more.
It'd bring him in closer. I mean, he's got enough rules to justify the point cost, but I don't know if the rules are desirable enough to justify the point cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Phoenix is the next one.
It was way overpriced before, so the point cost drop is very welcome from 18 to 17.
Okay.
Mat 6 to 7 is also nice.
That's really
Helps
cool.
differentiate it from other jacks in the faction. Still very pricey.
Yeah.
So still going to really compete with the Banshee. Yeah.
So before we talk about Raven, I just want to do the Stormfall Archers, because then Raven will be the last one. Stormfall Archers looks like they just added House Guard unit to them.
Yeah, their big thing is that they now get to, in Defenders of Ios, they get to not advance move anymore, so never mind. Nope, they're just the same.
They're the exact same, just now they're
They
a House
trigger
Guard unit.
they trigger advanced move on another Retribution unit in Defenders of Ios.
Okay, that's kind of nice.
Which, there's some good balance there, because advanced move on Stormfall Archers would be a little
way too
a
powerful.
little much.
Okay.
Yeah, their Stormfall Archers are great.
Yeah, they're really
my
good.
gosh,
I
they're so
remember them
great.
before. They're pretty brutal. All right, man. So now let's talk about
They're so
Raven.
tasty.
Raven, the last model
Raven
on this update.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good belting through this.
No, you are. I'm very impressed. I'm very proud of you.
It's like speed mode. Raven was a caster who, at least for me, was a check-the-box caster. Just get her on video and move on, be done with it. I hated playing her every single time I played her.
Get her on video, beat me up really bad.
You won that game.
Barely.
You won it on clock, I think.
Exactly. Barely won it because of clock.
So, anyways, she got a pretty decent overhaul. In some ways, it's really cool. In some ways, it's kind of weird.
Okay.
So she used to have... what was that spell called? Basically anything within her melee range gained additional dice of damage. So they kind of took that away. They put Sprint and Weapon Master on her instead to kind of make up for that.
Mm-hmm.
So her spells changes. She got countermeasures, which is a really intriguing spell.
That is really nice.
Yes, especially when you again cycle back to Infiltrators, because now they're stealthy. So if you go within 5, you can't shoot them.
That's really
And then
cool.
obviously they're cheap, and you can kind of run them all over and get
Yeah.
within 5 inches of stuff.
Yeah, you can get it within 5 inches of one model, within 5 inches of one unit, and then now all of a sudden that entire unit cannot shoot anything, or that warjack cannot shoot anything.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
fun.
And then Open Fire, is that a new spell?
Open Fire is on Malekith. It's replaced Ancillary Attack on the Vassal of Menoth.
Okay.
No, Ancillary Attack is still a rule. It's actually in Retribution on Assyria. But Open Fire, the spell, replaced that function within Protectorate.
Okay. Huh.
It is really, really intriguing.
It's like Jackhammer, ranged.
You can only do it once per Jack per turn.
Okay.
But one of the things I adore about Retribution, one of the things I think adds to their faction strength, their faction identity, the reason you should play them, you should enjoy them, and you should love them, is that all of their Jack's guns have secondary effects.
Ah, that's really nice.
So you have Moros, who we're just kind of dumping on, has paralysis on his gun. Well, now he can paralysis twice. The Gorgon, who, I like him more than most, can now shoot twice with his -2 speed gun. You've got just all these different things. Helios can shoot again with the tractor beam.
God damn. Helios.
You can shoot the sparkle cannon again with Hyperion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and this replaced Sentry, which is what you used to have. Not Sentry. Was it Sentry?
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I can pull it up really quick. I've got War Room up. I'll look.
It doesn't matter. No one cares enough about her. But you can do some really intriguing things because she also has snipe in her feet. So you can snipe a model. You can have it feet. You can have it shoot with Open Fire. Then it can charge or advance and then shoot again with Open Fire. Depending if it's like a Colossal or something. Like a Helios can, you snipe Helios, it goes up to range 16 on the tractor beam. Feet, so it's 3 dice. Open Fire, it can shoot, drag something in. It can then charge that and then shoot using gun platform another 3 times.
So I guess they got rid of... Does she still have Vortex of Destruction?
No, that's what replaced Weapon Master and Sprint.
Okay, so...
Countermeasure took that slot up.
Alright, she had Eliminator. Does she still have that?
No. Okay, so Countermeasure and Open Fire replaced Vortex and Eliminator.
And she also had
Vortex.
She had Locomotion.
She has Locomotion still.
Okay, she has Snipe and Veil of Mist. And Vortex of Destruction, so, okay.
Yep.
So
those 2 spells became Sprint and Weapon Master.
Which I think...
And then Countermeasure. She's fine. She's not something you really... use it to, like, clear off your Jacks.
Okay.
It's not something where she's a melee monster herself.
Yeah, not disappointing. That's still pretty cool.
Well, again, what it does is it takes her from a caster where you just check the box, yay, I played Raven, I'm a super snowflake, and she becomes something interesting. You can dojo with her, and it's curious, and it's exciting. You can Locomotion a Jack up and then Open Fire it. You can do all these different things with her now, and she becomes really intriguing. The one thing she doesn't have is she doesn't have any sort of damage buff. So you're really going to rely on your secondary effects and your positioning and your control to do all the things that you want her to do.
That's kind of ridiculous. Sorry, I was just looking at Gorshade and I clicked on the alternate caster Gorshade.
Oh, the one that's good?
Yeah, the ones that's stupid good.
Yeah.
Fucking Mage Blight. Ugh. Thank God.
Yeah, I think he's basically
anymore.
like Crick's rules.
Yeah, he is. Thank God we don't have to deal with Mage Blight anymore.
It might still be there. I don't remember.
No.
I've never run into Gorshade 1 in Mark III.
God, I hope it's not.
So anyways, but I'm not sure if Raven's going to change or not change, but I think she has enough elements now that you want to dojo her. You can come up with interesting, fascinating combinations.
Yeah, I think so. It definitely looks like... No, he does not have Mage Blight, thank God. That was an awful spell.
It usually got him killed, so...
It usually did, yeah, but if, whatever.
I'm going to dirtle up within 14 inches of your caster and spend all my focus.
Just, ugh. Did not like it.
I don't know, I really like the fact that he could teleport Jacks.
That was also ridiculous. I remember somebody did that to me, and I think it was Mark 1, and I had Siege, and I still killed him, and he was so pissed. It was great.
Dude, if they were, because he had all stealth for his battle group, and I think Scything Touch for his battle group, and then he could teleport them by replacing a warrior model, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell people didn't play him that way? They all like got focused on Mage Blight and got died and played it all wrong.
Because it was like someone had like I think teleported and then they harpooned Siege in, and I still had like I had enough health left, and then he didn't kill Siege, so it was my turn. I walked out of combat, popped my feet. Siege was the only model left, and it was back in the day where like we didn't play scenario. I popped my feet and I just one-shotted Gorshade, and I remember he almost flipped the table. He was so angry. It was great.
Honestly, you really should have just done your duty and died.
It was, nah, dude. You had to. Yeah, I had to do that. Because then I remember the guy then picked up his phone repeatedly, throwing it at the wall. He didn't flip the table, but he did break his own phone. I was pretty proud of myself.
Wow.
Yep. Mark 1 days, man. It was great. Didn't play with scenario. That meant my caster still lived.
I miss Adrian's having counterattack.
I think it was literally Siege 1, and I think I had Ryan Holt there. I think those are the two models. Because it was before Squire was out. So it's not like I could have the Squire and Ryan Holt as well. It was before Legends. It was pretty great.
I know. I was still bad touch for that game where I missed every single attack roll against you in a turn.
I can't remember that one.
That was Thyra versus Kane. Like, I got the Alpha Strike and then missed everything.
I feel like that's pretty fair.
You came around the table and, like, gave me a hug.
I feel like that's fair. Cause
no, it's not fair.
For the next year, the years after that, you just were a bad person to me. All right.
No, you're just salty about your Crucible Guard.
I am a little salty about my Crucible Guard, but we'll see. Hey, man, I might be able to play him this coming week. Next weekend? Mm-hmm. I guess when this podcast drops, it'll be the coming weekend. We'll see if I can play him. We'll see if I can get my battle boxes or not. If I can't get the army boxes, then I will be playing Convergence. But we are really close towards the end, so I just want to kind of get your final thoughts.
Well, we got some theme forces to touch on real quick.
All right.
So I've been touching on them as we go. The Forges of War 1 is very important because of the free Shail units. That's Concernicus to me. Mm-hmm. Legions of Dawn is worth touching on because they added the Shail Artificer to it. So now all of your Dawnguard guys can get +2 defense against shooting and immunity to blast damage, which is actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's meaningful. Defenders of Ios got geared up a little bit, so now units without ranged weapons can gain advanced move. It's not just Halberdier spam. And then the other two big changes are adding in Moros to Shadows, and then I believe Eris can be added now for free, taken as a free model, free command. Yep.
I heard someone that talked about that they had Eris shoot their caster top of 1.
That is because the battle engine can teleport it 2 inches.
Okay, so that's how it was, and they're like, yeah, this feels really bad.
Yeah, they're gonna hit that pretty quick.
I think so. Yeah, I mean the response that someone gave was, well, you probably should either have a shield guard or not have your caster that far forward.
That's not how it's gonna happen.
That being said, it's still pretty awful.
Yeah.
You know, granted, Eris will most likely die the very next turn.
There's a lot of casters who are very dependent on their focus turn 1.
They are. Well, that's what I said. Maybe, I mean, a shield guard really honestly would have protected that.
Yep. So, and then
but I don't know if that's the correct thing. I don't know if that's the correct response to it then.
No, they already said that's going to be on the chopping block. Pagani
they did?
chimed in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to chop it. I, again, find Slipstream questionable from a balance point of view.
I'm wondering if
because
that's
you're
what
adding
they
in.
chopped then.
I don't know. I like it in concept. I like those small movements. It's just it's in a faction that's already so fast.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of an issue. That's a huge issue.
Mm-hmm. So it's hard. So overall, relatively positive. A lot of things that I don't care a lot about. Like I said, I tried to boil it down to 4 things that are worth talking about. Mm-hmm. The 2 casters are definitely big pluses. I don't see anything specifically broken about them, which is unusual.
It feel like they were exciting, not
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. They seem exciting. They're not overly broken. I'd be surprised if a lot of things change. I mean, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see if, I don't know. We'll see about that.
But I definitely think the Trident is on the bubble. It probably is going to get hit a bunch.
I honestly, I think the thing that scares me is that the 2 inches is really strong. The anywhere from 3 to potentially 9 power 13 shots is really strong. That kind of I think scares me. That might scare me more than anything else. At least
problem
initially,
is
just my gut reaction. That's a lot. That's a lot of shots.
The model has 3 guns, so some flavor of that is staying. There's going to be 3 shots somehow.
Yeah, I'm fine.
But
with
how that gets tweaked is going to be curious.
I know. I'm wondering if it's maybe a shot and then a leap, but I don't know if that's still too powerful because that's still 6 potential shots, but 3 of them will at least be power 10 instead of power 13. I really don't know.
Not sure how they're going to do that. So that one's definitely on the bubble to be a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of too much, just a little too much. And then I do not like the direction they took the battle mages. I think that's not the great direction.
I think for Mirage, SR, the scenario for that'll make it interesting because at least you'll have 3 units that you could put out there. That's not horrible. You know, it's
I don't know. I mean,
16
Mirage
models. That's about the same as Destruction Initiative for Convergence. So it's not.
Well,
horrible.
they're not solos, so they don't score. I don't know. I see it as very much being creep.
Wait, because solos don't score on those, do they?
The Mirage is the one with 3 flags in the center, then 2 zones.
Oh, okay.
So the battle mages will score the zones, which your castrol should be in the zone anyway.
Okay.
So the thing that Convergence has is that they can go grab the flags really easily with their little balls.
That's true.
All the little
balls.
But I mean, Retribution has like the Mage Hunter Assassins, who are nice little cute stealth solos who can grab things.
Yeah.
And the Void Tracers are even cheaper stealth solos that can grab things.
Well, damn, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know. Red is, all the bitching is crazy. Red is a beautiful faction. It's in a great place. It is so much fun to play. And this is just taking a couple of the casters and elevating them to making them, even if they don't crack the top tier, making them interesting enough to want to play it, to want to JoJo 4. And I think that's really exciting. Like, I want to play Raven.
That's awesome. That's a good feeling. That sounds really good.
It is. And for the most part, you don't see anything that's too crazy. Like, it should be a relatively smooth CID.
That'll be good because it should end at the end of the month. I think it ends like 7:30. So we've got a couple weeks, about 3 weeks worth.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a couple things, but honestly, it should be a relatively smooth CID. I think they got it 90% right out of the gate.
Which is pretty damn nice. All right. So any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Death to round ears.
Hurtful. All right, guys. I want to thank everyone very much for listening to another episode of Turn Extension. Have a good night.
Take care.